Well, Fox News is America's election headquarters, and for the first time, voters in the New Hampshire primary will have to show some ID. Supporters of the law say it will prevent voter fraud and point to previous cases of people caught voting illegally, like these two men you're seeing on your screen. Critics, though, say voter ID laws suppress turnout. Eric Hall is live in New Hampshire watching to see how the law will work. Eric?
Hi, Jenna. Well, you know, voter ID has been controversial across the country. In North Carolina this week, that state's law is being challenged right now in Winston-Salem in federal court. But here in New Hampshire, for the first time in history, voter ID will be required in the presidential primary election that's going to happen here 2 weeks from today. And as you said, while supporters say it prevents voter fraud, others are worrying that in this election it could cause long lines and delays.
I think there's definitely going to be lines with any indication of our absentee balloting already. It's huge.
Tens of thousands of new voters are expected to flood the polls, and they will need to show a valid photo ID. Supporters say it's intended to stop voter fraud, like the case of Lauren Schneider. The Massachusetts man pled guilty to voting illegally in New Hampshire 3 times. Once in the 2008 presidential election, and then again 4 years later in 2012, in both the presidential primary and the November election. Then there is the case of Derek Castonguay, who also pled guilty to illegal voting 2 years ago. Voters without an ID will have to sign an affidavit attesting they are who they say they are. Their vote will be counted, but poll workers will also take their picture with an instant camera. Voter ID opponents say it suppresses votes and warn that officials photographing voters can also unfairly intimidate them.
This will take even additional time, and resources for the polling officials, and we're concerned that that might also result in increasing lines.
Has anyone been denied the right to vote because of voter ID?
No. Bill Gardner is New Hampshire's longtime serving Secretary of State. He's overseen the implementation of the law since 2012 and expects few problems for the first time it's being used in the primary.
It's pretty difficult, it's not impossible, but we've made it very, very difficult to successfully be able to commit fraud.
Well, the Secretary of State also told me that he does not believe voter fraud is rampant in this state, although clearly it has happened. He says one goal of the law is to make sure that no voters are turned away. That's why in other states they have provisional ballots where you vote provisionally until you can prove you are who you say you are. That's why they have the affidavit and the picture-taking element of that. So I think they're going to be taking a lot of Polaroid pictures, maybe as many as 5,000 if 0.5% of the voters here do not have voter ID or their proper photograph. Jenna, back to you.
Interesting story to watch. Eric, thank you.